Okay, finally, Dr. Arthur Popper, his bio here, second. Yes. He's just retired as Professor of Biology at the University of Maryland. He is now Professor Emeritus. He was Chairman of the Biology Department and President of the Faculty Senate in recent years also. Despite his retirement, he continues his active involvement in a wide range of activities, such as editing a scholarly magazine, a series of books. Check him out on Amazon, directing the University of Maryland program to increase the number and quality of science and math teachers in Maryland middle and high schools. During his academic career, he did research on the sense of hearing, and he currently does consulting around the world on the effects of noise generated by human activities, such as construction of bridges. The Captaincy Bridge is one of his projects. And wind farms, one marine life. Brought all around the world, actually, speaking about that. Outside of his academic work, Art has been active at Beth El. He was the first co-chair of the Family Education Committee, and Religious School Committee chair, officer of the congregation, and then synagogue president from 2001 to 2003, which is interesting years. We soon give him credit for the fact that he hired both the Beth El rabbis. They were great. Dr. Mark.
Aloha. When Bill asked me to do this, he said to me, since I'm coming from a background in science, please bring science to this. And so I thought about it, and I decided it's a lot obvious. Because for many, many years, my research has been on hearing, but it's also been Hamantash. And so what I want to do today is talk about my research for the past 45 years. Now, my goal is to show the value of Hamantash. I'm not really going to put down Latke's. You'll decide. So, my credentials. I published 247 scientific papers on Hamantash, the structure, function, and evolution. I've done 402 pages of scientific meetings all over the world. And I've edited 51 books, published by the National Organization of Studies of Hamantash. There, check them out on Amazon. So, I can't talk about all my research. It's just been so much. But I want to just mention, before I talk about the topics I'm going to cover, I want to just mention two of the papers that have been most widely cited by other scholars. The first is combined effects of food Hamantash and chicken soup on human aging. And what we showed was that if you eat Hamantash and chicken soup, aging process slows down, rejuvenates. The other paper, and this will be appreciated by most of the people in this room, Hamantash So what am I talking about today? This is my major research about hearing. I'm talking about hearing and Hamantash. One of my favorite applications, along with Mark Weinberg, is whiskey. Notice this is Scotch whiskey. It's not the other garbage that you get. This has no E in it. And I want to talk about cholesterol levels, because my doctor, Fred Berger, always talks about cholesterol levels. I am not going to talk about work that we've done on genetic studies showing that the DNA of Hamantash protect humans against many diseases. And I'm not going to talk about this equation that I thank Joanne Weinberg and Mark Weinberg for helping to develop, which shows absolutely that mana was Hamantash. So let's go on with the material that we want to discuss today. Hamantash in hearing. What we've learned over the years, not just in my lab and the lab of many people, as we get older, our hearing gets poorer. This is normal aging. Little people like this hear really well. People at my age, not good at all, and the middle group, so-so. So what we did a research project where we took people and we gave them one Hamantash a week for the last 15 years. There was a group that had one Latke a week for the past 15 years. And then boys. White boys, they don't know what Hamantash Latkes are, so they're not controlled. So now, I'm going to take you through some of the data that we published. And please bear with me, it's complicated. So this was called audiogram. You've all had this happen when you've gone to a doctor's office, they measure the hearing capabilities. So if you look at this, this shows frequency down here, and the sensitivity. So the lower number is better. And young people can hear out to about 20,000 cycles per second, what we call 20,000 hertz. A control group of young people, 17-year-olds, had really good hearing. A group, the goys, the ones who the 65-year-old goys, had really poor hearing. They really lost a lot of hearing capabilities. Now, look at the two experimental groups. The Latke-Hamentashen group had hearing almost as good as the younger people. Whereas the Latke group, they can't hear a thing. So the conclusion we come to, and look at these differences are statistically significant in an analysis of variance. And what we've discovered, we knew this, as you get older, your hearing gets worse and worse. And the Latkes, it gets even worse. You know, if you eat a lot of Latkes, your wife tells you you can't hear them, you can now explain because you eat Latkes. But eating a regular diet of Hamentashen counteracts the aging process and protects hearing. This is important. So now, single malt whiskey. One of the things we know is that the quality of single malt whiskeys to some degree depends on the quality of the water. If any of you are single malt whiskey lovers, like I am, you know that single malts in the islands of Islay are really particularly great. There's this wonderful peaty odor, and that's because the water is run over peat before it's used in whiskey. My wife hates it because this odor is really strong, so she makes me drink this outside the house. So what we wanted to see is whether other aromatic substances can make single malt whiskey even better. Okay? So, with the protocol, we traveled to a place called Wick in Scotland. It's the northernmost distillery in the world. So here. And this is the home of Old Pulteney whiskey. Mark and I just discovered this several years ago. We discovered it's the top-rated whiskey in the world in 2012. It's really great. We got the best Scottish Jewish cooks to make really good crude Hamentashen, and we really went out of our way to make sure the latkes were perfect. In other words, my wife made the latkes. We collaborated with the best Jewish distillers of Old Pulteney. Hard to find that. And so what we did, we ran the water over the latkes, over the Hamentashen, and we then made the whiskey. So then we had to determine if it was any good. So we convened some of the world's leading whiskey tasters to determine what was good. In here, I will assure you, my granddaughter Emma was drinking apple juice. But nobody else was. And this group convened, in fact, it was last night, and did a very thorough taste test of many different whiskeys, including the ones we made. And what we discovered is this. If you've ever read the book by, honestly, Michael Jackson, not the same one, but Michael Jackson is the world's leading expert on whiskey tasting. He rates it from 100 to 0. What we discovered, Old Pulteney, that Mark and I love so much, has a rating of 96. That is really good. Old Hamentashen, though, 99. A lot. We poured it down. I was going to pour it down the drain. I'm afraid what we do to the garbage disposal. So over the next year, Mark and I really are into this. So we're going to continue to explore other Jewish ways to improve the best single malt whiskeys. We're going to compare prune versus poppy seed. We're going to compare herring and wine versus herring and sour cream. Chicken soup and brisket. So now, cholesterol. It's a topic that many of us in this room really worry about a lot. So we did an experiment. We took Jews in the age of 65 to 75 and assigned them to one of 4 groups. They ate each food 3 times a week. They ate a latke, prune hamantash, a poppy seed hamantash, and there was one group we made not eat any of this stuff. And again, I'm going to show you the data. Oh, yeah, okay. We kept the other parts of the diet identical, except for the science. Everyone started out with a very high cholesterol LDL level, which is not good. We examined the changes in the LDL level over 14 weeks, and then we didn't allow them to take their statins. Bad. But this is an experiment. This is an experiment, but we got human subject approval, so we did. So the data are this. The control group, the level of cholesterol, LDL, stayed the same all the way through, no problem. The poppy seed hamantash and the fruit hamantash level dropped dramatically. No statins, they just got better. Look at the latke, people. Disaster. We actually had to stop this experiment in midstream because the data was so clear, we were afraid to kill off our subjects. So, conclusions. Hamantash lowers the LDL cholesterol level substantially and statistically highly significant. Latkes raise cholesterol levels even more significantly. The follow-up study showed the maximum benefit is at least 1 hamantash per week. And in fact, statins are not nearly as good as hamantash. So next time you see Brent Berger or your other physician, remind him of this.
Brent's here. He's right in the back.
Oh, Brent, keep this in mind, Brent. So, summary of my studies. A regular diet of hamantash substantially improves health. Hamantash has many other qualities. Not only do they taste really good, but they also enhance other food groups, such as whiskey. We're now studying the potential effects of hamantash filled with chopped herring. Is even better than hamantash. So, this is where I get back at my colleagues on the other side. A rapidly growing body of scientific data shows that eating latkes even 8 times a year is harmful to human health, which says binge eating a latkes on Hanukkah is dangerous. But I want to quote an old midrash. Remember, I'm in Bill's partial class, so we're doing midrash all the time. You all can read that. But I'll translate for you. Hamantash today is away. Finally, I want to give, as any scientist these days, research is collaborative. So I want to thank my collaborators, Carl Cohn, who dealt with the management of this project, very complicated project. My wife, Helen, who is the world's greatest editor, and boy, does she catch mistakes. Wendy Rubenstein, been doing the genetic studies, which I didn't really come into, but it's there. Joanne for statistics, and Mark Weinberg for legal assistance. Thank you very much.